On my wedding day, while everyone was dancing, laughing and celebrating love, my mother-in-law came close to me, so close that I could feel her breath. She smiled, but her eyes were not smiling. Then she whispered, "I will only give you 1 year in this marriage." My heart skipped. I didn't understand. I thought maybe I heard wrong. But she stepped back, looked at me again, and nodded slowly as if to say, "Yes, I meant it." I didn't know what she meant, but today I wish I had listened, because that was not a joke, that was a warning. And I was too happy and too in love to see the danger standing in front of me. At first, I tried to stay calm. I told myself not to let fear ruin my wedding day. I forced a smile, and I danced when people called me. I stood beside my husband and acted like everything was fine. But inside me, something had changed. That whisper stayed in my heart all through that day. Even when people came to greet us, and my husband held my hand, I was smiling outside, but inside I was disturbed. I kept asking myself, why would a mother say that to her son's wife? Why would she wait till my wedding day? Why would she say it like a promise? I wanted to tell my husband that same day. I really wanted to, but I looked at him. He was so happy, so proud, and so full of love. So I decided to keep it to myself. I told myself maybe I should not start my marriage with trouble. Maybe I should wait. Maybe she would change. Maybe I was overthinking it. I was wrong, because that whisper was the beginning of something dark. I met Obina during our university days. That was where everything started. We were young, full of dreams, and trying to build a future with almost nothing. What first drew me to him was his humility. He was calm, respectful, easy to talk to, and never behaved like someone who had too much. He was simple in the way he treated people, in his dressing, and even the way he spoke. So when I got close to him and later found out he came from a very wealthy family, I was shocked. Obina was the only child. Her father died in a car accident years ago. And it was a painful story for him, because anytime he talked about his father, his voice changes and even could hear the hurt in it. His father was a well-known importer and very successful businessman. After his death, his mother took over the business, and from what I heard, she handled it well. But Obina never acted like a rich man's child. That was one thing I loved about him. He never used money to make people feel small. He never carried himself with pride. He was just Obina, kind, focused, and loving. As we grew closer, we started building our life together in small ways, reading together, planning together, and even encouraging each other and talking about the future like it was already waiting for us. With him, life felt easy, not perfect, but safe. And one day, he promised me he would marry me. At first, I laughed, but he was serious. He said no matter what happened, I was the woman he wanted. I believed him, because he never sounded like a man who spoke carelessly. Then one day, he said he wanted me to meet his mother. I agreed. I was nervous, but I was also happy. I thought if she saw how much we loved each other, she would accept me. I had no idea that from the first day she saw me, she had already judged me. The day I entered their house, I was surprised. The place was so much beautiful. Big compound with a lovely interior. Everything looked expensive and well arranged. And standing there, I remember thinking, so this is the kind of family Obinna comes from. Because nothing about him ever made me feel he was trying to impress anybody. Then his mother came in. I greeted her respectfully. She answered, but something about her was cold. It was not rude, not loud, just cold. She looked at me for a few seconds, then looked away. When Obinna said, "Mom, I want to marry Stella," I saw the change in her face immediately. It was slight, but I saw it. She didn't smile. She didn't say congratulations. She just asked him to come with her. They left me in the sitting room and spoke privately. When he came back, he acted normal. I asked him what happened. He said it was nothing. I wanted to believe him, but the truth was written on his mother's face. She didn't want me. Not because she knew me. Not because I had done anything wrong. But she simply believed I wanted her son because of their wealth. From that day, something in me felt uneasy. She never insulted me, but the way she looked at me, it felt like I didn't belong. Still, I stayed because I loved Obinna, and Obinna loved me too. And what I didn't know was that his mother had already chosen someone else for him, and in her heart, I was standing in the way. And Obinna never told me that his mother did not want our marriage. Not until our wedding day, when her whisper confirmed everything. After the wedding, I told my husband we needed to visit her. He said it was not necessary, but I insisted. I told him I wanted to learn some things from her. That was the only reason he agreed. When we got to her house, her face changed the moment she saw us. She looked unhappy, as if our visit annoyed her. I greeted her, but she barely answered. Throughout our stay, she said almost nothing to me. Even when I asked her questions, she acted like she didn't hear. My husband became angry. He stood up and said we should leave. And that was how the real problem started. 2 weeks after our wedding, she called and said she was very sick. She said she could not do things on her own, that she wanted to come and stay with us for some time so we could take care of her. At first, my husband refused, but later he talked to me about it. And honestly, I was happy. I thought this was my chance to show her that I truly meant well. I thought if I cared for her closely, maybe her heart would soften. I didn't know danger was coming into my house, because the day she moved in was the day peace left our home. She did not fight me, but she did something worse. She changed the atmosphere in the house. Everything became heavy, uncomfortable, and tense. She would sit quietly and watch me. If I spoke, she would ignore me. If Obinna was around, she would pretend to be calm. Then something else started happening. Every day after cooking and setting the food on the dining table, the moment I leave to go and call my husband, my mother-in-law would go to the dining table and add something into my food. It was not to kill me, but to destroy me slowly. I knew nothing about it. I kept eating, kept serving her, and kept trying to be a good daughter-in-law and a good wife. 3 days after she came to stay with us, I started bleeding, and it was very serious, so I was rushed to the hospital. That was when I got the first shock of my life. I was told I was pregnant. I didn't know about it. Then the doctor looked at me and asked, "Why did you remove your baby?" I was speechless. I told him I did no such thing. He said a harmful substance had affected the pregnancy. That was why I lost the baby. My head became empty. I tried to remember everything I had eaten, everything I had drunk. Nothing made sense. So when I told my husband, he was shocked too. He tried to console me, but his mother, instead of showing concern, she started talking. She said she knew my type could never give birth. She said I had spoiled myself from my university days. She said she warned her son not to marry me. I was hurt. I was deeply hurt. And that was when I remembered her words again. I will only give you 1 year. That was the moment I knew she had came into our house for a mission. And I started to suspect that she was behind my miscarriage. I could not keep quiet again. I needed help. So I called my sister to come stay with us. My sister is not someone you try nonsense with. She is sharp, bold, and she knows how to deal with people like that. The day she arrived, my mother-in-law ignored her greeting. My sister greeted again, still nothing. Then my sister asked if she had ear problem. That was all, just that. And from there, another drama began. My mother-in-law started crying. By the time my husband came back from work, she told him that my sister insulted her. She lied that I brought my sister to fight her. My husband got angry. He said my sister should leave the house. I tried to explain, but because his mother was crying and acting hot, he believed her more. My sister wanted to leave, but I begged her to stay. Later, after I spoke to my husband, he changed his mind. The next day, the truth started coming out. As usual, after setting the food on the dining table, I left to call my husband. And the moment I left, my mother-in-law secretly went and added a substance to my food. But this time, my sister was watching. She saw everything, and she quickly took a picture of her secretly adding a substance into my food. When she showed me the picture, my whole body froze. Finally, I had a proof. But we still needed to know what the substance was. Because if we confront her immediately, she could deny it. So I suggested that we all go out and eat something different. And my husband agreed. So that Sunday evening, we went to a popular restaurant in town. The place was beautiful, soft lights, neat tables, gentle music playing in the background, and people were laughing. Plates were shining under the warm lights. Everything there looked calm and peaceful. It almost felt like a different world. Meanwhile, something serious was about to happen. While we were eating, my sister pretended she had a running stomach. She quietly left and used that chance to go back home. And I was the only one who knew what she was doing. She went straight to my mother-in-law's room and searched carefully. When she finally found the substance hidden inside one of her clothing bags, she took pictures and took it with her. Then she returned to the restaurant before anyone noticed anything. That night, I could barely sleep. I kept staring at the small evidence in front of me. The next morning, I went to the hospital with it. And what I heard there changed everything. The doctor examined the substance, then he looked at me. The way he looked at me made my heart beat faster. He said, "This is poison." Then he added, "It destroys the womb." I felt cold all over, and I asked him to check me properly because I needed to know how much damage it had caused me. After the examination, he told me something that broke me completely. He said my womb had been badly affected, that I might not be able to give birth. He even said my womb might need to be removed for my safety. I could not cry. I could not speak. I just sat there in shock. The doctor later asked me why I had taken such a thing. That was when I told him everything. He was shocked. He could not understand how a woman could do that to another woman simply because she did not want her son to marry her. I sent the pictures to my husband. The picture of his mother adding something to my food. The picture of the substance and the test results. He came home in a hurry and confronted her. He asked her why she would do such a thing. At first, she denied it. Then she started crying again, fake tears, fake pain. She said I was evil. She said I wanted to separate her from her only son. She called me a gold digger. She called me a gother and said that after destroying myself, I was now looking for someone to blame. But when the pictures were shown to her, she wanted to hide, and that was when the truth finally came out. She said she begged her son not to marry me, that she had already chosen another wife for him, but he refused to listen. And she swore that over her dead body would this marriage ever succeed. I sat on the floor that day asking myself what I had done to deserve such hatred. My sister was really angry and she almost attacked her, but we stopped her. Instead, we called the police, and my mother-in-law was arrested. The moment she left our house, peace returned. Real peace. My husband was shattered and could not believe his own mother would do such. But he stood by me. With treatments, medication, and the grace of God, I got another chance. 6 months later, I became pregnant again. And this time, everything went well. Today, I have my own son. And sometimes when I look at him, I remember that whisper on my wedding day. I remember the fear, the pain, the betrayal. And I thank God that evil did not win. Because if my sister had not come when she did, I don't know if I would still be alive to tell this story. Thank you for watching.